morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm starting out the morning strong. I see about 4 deer out there in our pasture. Kind of exciting. I always love when the deer come in the mornings and the evenings. And it's a balmy 52 out there. Hey, Cindy, good morning. Deanna, good morning. Rosie said, "Oh, yay. Yes, I love when the little deer come in." And the chickens are out there too. Our rooster stud muffin and his little ladies are out there. So, interesting day here. But this morning, I'm going to be working on Mama Wheeler's blanket. And I picked out this yarn several months ago. This is what it looks like, minus the dog hair. It's the Caron Colorama Halo Perfect Phasing. Really pretty yarn. It's considered a 5 bulky, and it calls for a J10 hook. I think that's what I was using. What is this? Yeah, J10. So anyhow, the pattern, I tried, oh, this is the colorway Harbor Frost. I don't know if I said that. Um, Betty, good morning. Jody's here. Shailene, good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. So I picked out this yarn because my mom, part of the year, lives down in Florida. And I thought, oh, this will be a nice colorway. It fits in with her house. She's got this really pretty, like aqua blue color going on. And I've been wanting to make a throw blanket for her living room. So I bought, I think, 6 or 8 of these cakes. I wasn't sure how many I was going to need. I've been trying to figure out a pattern to do with this yarn. And I've tried a number of different patterns. It has, if you guys can see, it has like these little fibers on it. So it's really nice and soft. And it's kind of fluffy. Excuse me. Now, because she's down in Florida, I don't want a blanket that's like too dense. You know what I mean? Where it's like really, really heavy. Because I just wanted something that's kind of light and airy so that if she gets a little chill in the living room there, she can just grab a blanket and throw it on. So I tried a number of different patterns, and what I have ended up with, I was watching Maggie's live. A lot of you guys know Maggie. And she was working on the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. And I saw her working on it, and I thought to myself, aha, this might be it. Because it looks like little waves, right? There's these little, I call them bridges, but they look like little fan waves. And it's kind of open, right? It's an open stitch with all the little holes, so it's like not too dense. And that's why I thought, oh, this is a really good pattern for this. So I scrapped the other ones that I had been starting on and testing with, and I started on this for Mama Wheeler last week. Now the thing is, the virus blanket by Fiber Spider is a square blanket. Okay, Mama Wheeler wants rectangle for her living room. So what I had to do was I had to modify the center and change it from a square version to a rectangle version. So this is actually the center of my blanket, if you can see that. Y'all are getting very familiar with this as I start out with my chain. Again, she wants like a 50 by 60 is kind of the size that I'm thinking. And the way that I calculate how big to make my starting chain is I take the length 60 and I subtract the width 50. So 60 minus 50 gives me 10 inches. So my starting chain, I needed to be about 10 inches. And I'm doing these little granny clusters into this chain. So my chain needs to be divisible by 3. So I ended up doing a chain of 36. Now, I didn't want to continue on with this cluster look. So what I did is I followed that stitch with a V stitch. Okay, you can see it here. And then I came back and I did more double crochets. And that's how I got that center so that I was able to come back and add my little bridges. Okay. So at some point, guys, this is my second one of these to do in a rectangle version. I couldn't find where anybody else had like a pattern or anything of a rectangle that I really liked. So I just kind of came up with my own. So basically, the way that this works, and I put links on the link tree, guys, this morning. If you go to the link tree in my profile, if you're on YouTube, you can find it in the details of the video, okay, down in the body. Um, you're not going to find how to do this rectangle center. I'm going to have to come back and do another one of these and basically show you all how to do the rectangle option if you want to do that. But these shells, bridges, whatever. I call them, they look like bridges to me. And then you make these little fans, right? Almost like little peacock tails in this color. So on the fiber spider pattern, he has two different videos. Make sure that you watch both videos, okay? Part one of his video shows how to do the center. Now, his center would be like, a square like this, not long like mine. And then he moves on. So his first three rows, if I'm not mistaken, are the very center. Then you have rows 4, 5, 6, and 7 are part of video number 1. Then you move to video number 2, and it shows you more as you go along. So take the time, watch both videos. They're on the link tree. It's by Fiber Spider. So basically, once you get going, you just keep working these bridges out and then you add to them. So right now, if I can find where I left off, I finished one skein of yarn. I had a stitch marker here. Where did it go? Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so basically, this is row 4, which is a little chain structure. That's what I'm working on right now. So this is the first part of the repeat. Then we have 5, 6, and 7, and we just keep repeating those up. So again, if we look at this one on the row below, here is the chain. That is row 1, which is 4, sorry, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to get my new yarn started up here. If you all are just joining, this is the yarn that I'm using. I put links for it on the link tree as well. It's out of stock right now at Yarnspirations, but maybe if you do a reminder, it'll come up. But it's the Caron Colorama Halo Perfect Phasing. And this is in the colorway, what is it, Beach Frost? Harbor Frost. Harbor Frost. Okay, so that's the yarn that I'm using. And I'm using a size J10 hook. Okay, I almost said J6. That wouldn't make any sense. So let me get this on my hook here and get this. Oh, Lordy, I've got a knot already this morning. This is why we, hey, Debbie, good morning. Debbie says she's got her coffee. All right, she's ready to go. Joan, good morning. Nana said, so fluffy and beautiful. Gen X girl is here. Good morning. Isn't it pretty? But I've got myself a little bit of a knot here. So let me see if I can get this little guy undone. There we go. We're making progress here. I had it in my bag. I had put this to the side. Okay, let me put my knot slayer back away. Shauna is here. Shailene, did I say good morning? Dale, good morning. How are you? Everybody's hopping on. Oh, I see 4 deer out there now. Yeah, it's really pretty colors. Doesn't this have a nice Florida feel to it? I don't need that. That's what I'm looking for Mama Wheeler I wanted a Florida kind of vibe. So let me I need to get this yarn together here. I don't want to do that. Hang on, go here. Bear with me, guys. Getting a new skein on. Let's do that. So there is chain of 1, 2, 3. Okay. So let me get here to the corner and get this new yarn connected. However you need to connect your yarn. I'm not going to go into that this morning. Oh gosh, I've messed it up again. Bear with me here, guys. I'm having technical difficulties this morning, apparently. Okay. I'm going to talk about these stitches in just a second here. Okay, so when you're looking at your shells or bridges of the row below, this is our little bridge. The way that this works is after we do our foundation chain, which is row 4, that's what we're doing right now. Then we're going to come back and do 10 double crochets into our big bridges. So there's big bridges and little bridges. And then we're going to come back and continue working on that. So when you are looking, can you see how there's these two shells right here? And if we look at in between, do you see how these kind of tilt together? This is where our big bridge goes. So in order to do the big bridge, we need a total of 5 chains. Okay, so we're going to skip over these 2 stitches and these 2 stitches, and we're going to go into this space. So we're skipping over those 4, and then we do a single crochet. So this is what I like to call the big bridge. Okay, so when we start doing our next peacock fan, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be working the 10 double crochets into this. Now, as we go along the top of this, here is our bridge here. Okay, we need to chain 3. Again, you're going to skip 2 and then into the space, single crochet. Chain 3. Again, skip 2 and then single crochet. So those single crochets are what tacks these little bridges down. Okay, so the little bridges, if we look at it, do you see these in here if I kind of spread this out? See how they're shorter? These are the same little bridges that I'm making right now. Okay, so then we chain 3, skip 2, and single crochet. Tack that down. Okay, now can you see the little landmark? I feel like preaching almost about the landmarks. So here's our little V stitch here. See that, how they come together? So we have 2 and 2. This is a bridge here and a bridge here. Okay, so now we need to do our next little bridge. This is the big bridge. Okay, so here's 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to skip these 2, skip these 2, bridge all the way over to here, single crochet. Okay, so there is where our next little grouping of 10 double crochets is going to go. You start to visualize this after a while. Now we're going to chain 3. This is a little bridge, skip 2, and then single crochet. Again, chain 3, skip 2, and then single crochet. Chain 3, skip 2, and single crochet. So when you're on the top of these, see here's the 10, right? As it gets bigger out, when you get to the top, you're gonna have your big bridge of 5. You can see it there. Then you're gonna have 3 little bridges. Now looking for the landmark again, visualize, here's that little triangle, right? So you know you're ready for a big bridge. So the big bridge, you're going to chain 5, skip over 2, skip over 2 into the space, secure that bridge, single crochet, chain 3, skip 2, secure the little bridge, chain 3, skip 2, and into the space, single crochet. There's number 2 little bridge. We need 3. Here's 3 chains, skip 2. Now secure that little bridge. Okay, looking for the landmark again. Can you see it? There's our little triangle. That tells me I need a big bridge now. So here's 3, 4, and 5. 5 chains, skip 2, skip 2, bring the big bridge down and secure that. I almost said the B word there. Bring that B down. Okay, there's our big bridge. Chain 3, skip 2. This is a little bridge. We need 3 little bridges. Chain 3. Get out some more yarn here. We're starting with a new skein. Okay, again, skip 2, single crochet, 1 more of the little bridges, chain 3, skip 2, and again, secure that. Now here we are looking for the landmark again, and we're getting here to the corner. Okay, so when we get to the corner here, we're going to have to make some more, it's like a double bridge here. Okay, so let's finish this one here. Here's that little triangle. There's our landmark. So we know we need a big bridge. Here's 3, 4, 5 chains. Skip over 2, skip over 2. So skip over a total of 4. Now in between, single crochet and tack that down. So there's a big bridge. Okay, so again, that's where we're going to be putting our 10 double crochets. Now we're going to resume. We need our 3 little bridges. So chain 3, skip 2, and then right into the space, we're going to single crochet. Need another little bridge. Gen X girl, what I do is I chain 3, I skip this post, and then go into the space in between. Okay, technically, this is a double crochet, a chain 1, a double crochet. So technically, you're skipping all of that. My mind, it's easier just to say skip these two stitches and then go in the space. Very, very easy if I think about it that way. If I try to think about counting stitches and all that crap, too much work. Too much work for my little brain. So again, chain 3. Remember, we need 3 of the little bridges. So here's one post, skip both those, then right into the space, single crochet, tack that down. So here's a bridge, here's a bridge, here's a bridge, the baby bridges. And here's our big bridge. Okay. So now in the corner here, what we have to do is we have to make room for 2 of the big bridges. And the reason why is because if you think about it, we have this side of the blanket, right? And then we have this side of the blanket. And we have to be able to turn and go up and over. So the way we do that is we do a big bridge, which is, again, a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, same thing. We're going to skip 2. So here's a post, right into the space, single crochet, tack down that big bridge. So there it is. Now we need to do another big bridge, and that's going to help us to go back this other direction. So again, chain 5, skip 2, 1, 2 post, and then right into the space, single crochet. Okay, so there are our 2 bridges. So see how it follows this one down here? So we're going to do 10 double crochets into that, and then 10 double crochets into that. Okay, this is going to be on my YouTube, but guys, if you're just hopping on, this is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. The only difference is I am doing a rectangle shaped blanket. Okay, so I started out with a different center. The stitch that I'm showing right now is the same all the way. It's a repeating like shell. You can kind of see it there. It's really, really pretty. So anyhow, I encourage you to check out the links by Fiber Spider. Um, I will be working on another one of these. I'll probably do it from the very center if there is interest in people learning how to do the rectangle one. We'll just have to see. I'm not sure if people want to make the rectangle one. If you want to make just the square one, you could definitely go to Fiber Spider and check it out. Let's see. The yarn fiber makes it a bit challenging to see the full stitch detail. It does because Shailene, it's a fuzzy yarn. So I think I have some ombre yellow yarn, the Premier gradient that I really like, and I think this would be a really pretty blanket in yellow ombre because I think it would look like little rays of sunshine. And so I think I want to make another one of those. Um, that and basically with that one I would start from the very beginning. So this is only my second time making a rectangle like this and my only second time doing this pattern. So I'm kind of, learning as I go along, but it's really, really kind of a fun pattern to work on, but it does require some counting and paying attention. So like when I was working on it Saturday, I got to a point where I was messing up a lot and I had to put it to the side. I was not focused and it became a challenge. So you have to definitely work on it when you kind of have time to focus, right? And there's not 5 million things going on. So here is our 2 bridges in the corner, the big bridges. Okay. Now we need to do a little bridge. We need 3 little bridges. So there's a chain of 3. Again, we're going to skip two posts, and then into the space, single crochet, tack down the little bridge. Here's little bridge number 2. We need a total of 3. So again, we're going to chain 3. You're going to skip 2 posts. Here's a post, here's a post, right into the space, single crochet. There's little bridge number 2, chain 3, and again, skip 2 into the space, single crochet. There's little bridge number 3. Now again, we're looking for our landmarks. So here we are back along the side again. You can see all the little, here's the big bridges, right? So again, we need to make a big bridge here because you can see this is the little triangle landmark. So for the big bridge, we need to chain 5, 3, 4, and 5, skip 2 on this side, skip 2 on this side, skipping a total of 4 of those posts into the space, again, single crochet, tack that down. There is our big bridge. So as we come around with the next round, our 10 double crochets are going to go in the big bridge. Now here we are at the top of the mountain here. So we need 3 little bridges. Chain 3, that's a little bridge. Skip over 2 into the space, single crochet. Again, chain 3, this is little bridge number 2, skip 2, and into the space, single crochet. Chain 3, another little bridge, this is little bridge number 3, skip 2, and again, single crochet. So there's the top of our mountain. And again, you can see I have 3 of the little bridges. Sorry, guys, let me catch up on the comments. Y'all, I may miss some comments today because I am trying to count stitches and stuff. Shailene says you did a great job adapting the pattern. Oh, thank you, Shailene. I appreciate that. Sparky, good morning. Anvil is here. Oh, Mama Wheeler is here. This is the blanket for Mama Wheeler. So if y'all can see it, this is what I'm working on this morning is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. Now I have adapted it and I've made it into a rectangle. Okay, so this way I'm shooting for a size of 50 by 60, like a lap gown for Mama Wheeler at her condo in Florida. So this is the center that I adapted. I will do another one of these at some point from start to finish in case you want to do a rectangle version. But I did put links on the link tree this morning to the yarn that I'm using and also the pattern. The video that I watched is by Fiber Spider. This is the yarn I'm using. Caron Colorama Halo Perfect Phasing, and this is in the colorway Harbor Frost. I thought it looked like fun Florida colors, but it's kind of a fluffy yarn. It's really nice and soft. I think this would make like a beautiful like hat and scarf combo. I don't know that it's necessarily intended for making blankets, but I thought it was. I fell in love with the color. I just thought it was a good color for my mom's condo. Sparky said, I think that much fuzz would bug me, but I love the look of it. Yeah, I don't know that it is hard to work with, but you can definitely see the little fuzzies on it. So it's really soft though. And I don't know what the blend is. Now I'm curious. Let me see what the blend is on this. 71% acrylic, 18% nylon, and 11% polyester, machine washable and dryable. And I am using a size J10 hook. It's a 5 bulky weight, but it is really pretty. So I like it. Something different. I don't normally work with a lot of fuzzy, fancier yarns. But I wanted to get something a little nicer for my mom. Gen X Girl said, my mistake was when they said skip 2, I was skipping 2 spaces, not post. Yeah, so it was, I thought, a little confusing on the video. The way that Fiber Spider kind of explained it, I had to watch it again. And I kind of then had to interpret it into my own brain. For me, I don't think of like skipping spaces for this pattern. For me, I think about skipping post and then working into the space. That kind of makes more sense in my brain. So that's how I'm explaining it today. Nana said, so 10 double in the big bridge. What goes into the little bridge? So the little bridges, you're going to do more chain work. So this is where the little bridges were. Here is what we're doing right now. See how there's 3 right here? Then you end up with 2, and then you end up with 1 bridge. Okay, so you just kind of get smaller as you go along. Um, Sparky said, light bulb just went off for me. Yeah, this is a really fun pattern to make, I think. Let's see. Cat KSC Design said, I made 5 of the virus shawl and they were gorgeous. Yeah, there's also the shawl for this. I'm doing the blanket pattern. This pattern was really, really popular. What, like 6, 7 years ago, guys? A lot of people made this pattern. And I was watching Maggie Unicorn. You know, I watch her. You guys know and love Maggie. And she's been making this. And so she inspired me to make it. I've never made this before. And so I went off and made it. And then I thought it would be nice for Mama Wheeler in her condo. Caron Cloud Cake's perfect phasing, though. I'm working on the color cinnamon. Oh, nice, nice. It makes more sense to me also. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad what I'm saying is making sense. Okay, so here we are again. Here is our big shell that we did, fan. I swear it looks like a peacock tail to me. Can I just call it a peacock tail? Here is a peacock tail here. Okay. So in between, we're looking for the landmark. Here's the little triangle, right? So this is where our big bridge is going to go. We need a chain of 5. Okay. Here we're going to skip 2 posts. Move over here, skip 2 posts. So skip a total of 4. Then into the space, tack that bridge down with a single crochet. There's our big bridge. So when we come back around, our 10 double crochets are going to go right into that. Let's see. Calico said, I just finished a solid white virus blanket. Yeah, that would be really pretty. That would be elegant, like almost like, I think for like a wedding gift. Wouldn't that be pretty? With all the fans. That would look really cool. Again, now we're to the small bridges. Okay, so we're going to chain 3. Team Chaos or Cheers is unlocked. Thank you, everybody, for sending all the heart me's this morning. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with comments and count stitches and everything. If I miss your comment, please feel free to ask again. The mods will try to pin it for me. If you are new to my channel, my name is April. I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. This morning, if you're just joining, I am working on the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. We are working on the row 4 of the repeat, and I'm kind of explaining how I'm doing these chains. But this is a blanket that I'm making for my mom. She's on the chat here this morning, Mama Wheeler. So she has known about this blanket, guys. It's not like it was a surprise. I wanted to make something that she would like, and I didn't want to go to all the effort to make something that she was like, oh, I don't like this. So she's been in the loop. I did pick out the yarn without her, but it is one of those things. Okay, so here we are again, ready to do a big bridge. Here's our landmark. Here's the little triangle. So the big bridge, you chain 5. Here's 3, 4, 5 chains. Now we're going to skip 2 posts, skip another 2 posts, and then into the space right here, tack down your big bridge, single crochet. So that's where our 10 double crochets are going to go. Now, whenever you go over the top of these little peacock tails, you need 3 little bridges. The little bridges are a chain of 3. Chain 3, again, you're skipping 2 posts, and then into the space, tack down the little bridge, single crochet. Chain 3, this is little bridge number 2. Skip 2, into the space, again, single crochet, tack down your little bridge. Chain 3, There's a name for getting distracted by chat, chistraction. It happens a lot on gaming channels. Yeah, that happens to me too. Okay, skip 2. This is little bridge number 3. Tack it down, single crochet. I got to turn this blanket here, guys. 1 second. We're getting close to another corner here. Okay, so again, here is peacock tail. Here's peacock tail. Now we're going to look for the landmark. Here's our little triangle. So we know right away we need a chain of 5 for a big bridge. There's chain of 5. Again, there's the little triangle. Skip 2, skip 2. Bring your bridge all the way across, tack him down, single crochet. So that's where our chain of 10 or 10 double crochets are going to go. Now on the corner here, if you can kind of envision this, let me turn this a little bit. The corners are like owl eyes. Okay, so if we kind of turn it, it's a little harder to see because of the fuzzy yarn, but can kind of see how this looks like an eye and this looks like an eye, and then here's a little beak. So in the corner, you have to remember you're going to need 2. And the reason why is we have this side of our blanket here, and then we have this side of our blanket here. So in the corner here, we have to make sure we do double the amount here so that we can crest that corner. Okay, so here was our big bridge of 5. Same thing, we need our 3 little bridges. Chain 3, skip 2, into the space, single crochet. Chain 3, this is little bridge number 2, skip 2, right into the space, single crochet, tack down that bridge. Here's little bridge number 3, chain 3, skip 2, and again, tack down that little bridge. Okay, so now we're ready to make our little corner owl eyes, okay? Again, these are big bridges, so we need to chain 5. This is big bridge number 1, skip 2, right into the space, tack it down, single crochet. There's big bridge number 1. Now in the corner, we need to do another chain of 5 and make a second big bridge, okay? Skip 2, right into that space, single crochet. So there are our 2 little owl eyes as we come back around. Okay, now we're headed back down. Here's our little valley here. There's the triangle. Okay, so as we head down, we need our 3 little bridges. Chain 3, skip 2, into the space, single crochet, tack down that little bridge. Little bridge number 2, chain 3, again, skip 2, tack down the bridge, single crochet. We need 1 more. Chain 3, skip 2, and into the space, again, tack down the little bridge. Okay, now we're working along the other side here. So here is our 2 peacock tails, right? Here's 1, here's 1. Again, looking for the landmark. Do you see the little triangle here? That's what you're looking for. Over that, we need a big bridge. So we need 3, 4, 5 chains. Okay. Then we're going to skip 2 posts, skip 2 posts, total of 4 posts you're skipping over, and then into the space, tack down your big bridge. So again, that is where our new little 10 double crochets will go. And that'll make sense as we start our next round. Chain 3, skip 2, this is little bridge number 1, single crochet, chain 3, skip 2, again, tack down that little bridge, chain 3. Guys, thank you all so much for the hearts that are flying up the screen. I really appreciate that. I see a number of shares as well. And on YouTube, thank you for all the thumbs up over there. Really appreciate it. Okay, so here we are. Here is peacock tail, peacock tail. Looking for the landmark. Here's the little triangle. That tells us we need a big bridge. Big bridge is a chain of 5. We're going to skip 2, skip another 2, total of 4. Over here, we're going to tack this down right into the space, single crochet. There's our big bridge. Now immediately we're going to move to 3 little bridges. Little bridge number 1, chain 3, skip the 2 post into the space, single crochet, chain 3, little bridge number 2, skip 2, right into the space, single crochet. There's a little bridge, there's a little bridge. We need one more, chain 3. Again, skip 2 post and then right into this space, tack that down. Back to our landmark here. Do you see the little triangle? That tells me immediately I need to chain 5 for a big bridge. We're going to skip over these 2 posts, total of 4, right into the space, tack down the big bridge. There he is. Okay, now here we are in the top of the peacock tail. We need 3 little bridges. Chain 3, skip 2 posts into the space, tack it down, single crochet, chain 3, skip 2 right into the space, little bridge number 2, and then chain 3, skip 2 right into the space, tack down little bridge number 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Looking for the landmark, here is the little triangle. So again, we need to chain 5. Your big bridges are always going to be 5. Skip the 2 on this side, skip the 2 on this side, right into the space, tack down your big bridge, single crochet. Chain 3. Again, we need this is our top of our peacock tail here. We need 3 little bridges. Skip 2, tack down the first bridge, single crochet, chain 3, little bridge number 2, again, skip 2, chain 3, skip 2, and that's tacks down little bridge number 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here we are back to the landmark again. There's our little triangle. We need a big bridge. Big bridges are 5 chains. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 on this side, skip 2 on this side. Over here, tack it down right in between in the space, single crochet. Okay, so there's our big bridge. Here we are back to the top. You guessed it, 3 little bridges. Chain 3, skip 2, right into this space, tack it down, single crochet. Little bridge number 2, chain 3, skip 2, into the space, single crochet. So you can see as you work this along, it's going to become more obvious as you're looking for these landmarks. And you're just going to keep working this all the way around, and then we'll be ready to start the next round. The next round we're going to be doing is double crochets. So I think this pattern is kind of like an intermediate pattern. But, I would have kind of counted myself out of this pattern for a while. And it depends on where you're at in your crochet journey. I don't want to say don't try it because certainly if you feel like you could take it on, we're doing chains, single crochets, and double crochets. I don't think there's any other stitches other than that, but there's a lot of counting and where to place the stitches. And so that's the challenge. But as you get familiar, here's our little landmark, the triangle, right? So again, big bridge. As you get more familiar with these landmarks, you'll be able to kind of whiz along, and we're setting ourselves up to be able to start doing those double crochets on the next round. Hey, Victoria, good morning. We're almost here, I think, this is where I started right here. So we're almost there. So again, here's our little landmark. This is our corner. Remember, your corners are the ones where you have your owl eyes. Do you see it? It's upside down right now. But can you see that's like the little owl eyes? And if my yarn wasn't so fuzzy, you'd be able to see the little beak a little better. But again, here's the triangle. So that tells us we need a big bridge. So we need a chain 5. Okay, then we're going to skip 2 on this side, skip 2 on this side. So when I say skip, I'm talking about the post. I count the post, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go immediately into the space and I single crochet, tack that down. There's our big bridge. So as we head up here to the very center, we still need our 3 little bridges. So chain 3, skip 2, right into the space, single crochet, chain 3, this is little bridge number 2, skip 2, tack it down, single crochet, chain 3, little bridge number 3, skip 2, into the space, tack it down. Now, when I started here, you can see this was our big bridge as we headed on this side. And you can see I've got 2 stitches here. So what this tells me is I need to do another big bridge here. So this little eye here is this eye. I'm missing this eye. I need to place him there. So again, big bridge, chain of 5, skip 2, right into this space, tack it down with a single crochet. So there are our 2 owl eyes in the corner. So this completes row number 4 of the repeat. Hey Shay, good morning. Gen X Girl, thank you so much for the gifts this morning. We've had a number of new people hop on this morning. So let me spread this out and kind of show you all what I'm working on so that you can get a visual of this. This is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. Now, the difference with my blanket versus the Fiber Spider blanket is his version is square. Um, these rows right here, I'm repeating exactly as he did. However, what I did is I modified my center and I made it into a rectangle shape. Now, at some point, I'll make another one of these from start to finish on the live without such a fuzzy yarn. That way, if you want to make this, you'll be able to redo that follow on my YouTube and watch. But today I'm just kind of giving you a feel for how these little, I like to call them peacock tails. That's what they look like to me. You can kind of see them here. In the corner, it looks like you have little owl eyes as you work your way along. So we're getting ready to start row 5 of the repeat. And I am here in the corner. We just finished row 4. Row 4 is where you create your big bridges and your little bridges. Now we're going to start working our double crochets into these. And you can see here of the row below, it's a little hard to see because it's fuzzy, but there are 10 double crochets when we go into our big bridges. So that's what I'm going to start working on next. Then if you look along the side here, do you see these 3 right here? If I kind of spread those out, those are the 3 little bridges. So as we work this round, we're going to take those 3 and reduce them down to 2 little bridges. Okay, so you'll kind of see that as it comes into shape here. So the first thing that I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to get myself, I need to be working into this big bridge here. Okay, so I'm just going to do a slip stitch and get myself set up. And what I'm going to do is work 10 double crochets right into this big bridge. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. So if you don't want to do a standing double crochet here, you could do a chain of 3. Okay, so the way I do this is I wrap my yarn around and do a standing double crochet. That is double crochet number 1. Now I need 9 more. This is where all the counting comes in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so there's the beginning of our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I need 10. Doop. There's 10. Okay, and there you can see that's our new little owl eye there. The other one's going to be right here when we come back around. Okay, so this is the very corner here, and I'm going to be starting to work along this side. Let's see. Sorry, I missed Shailene's comment. This pattern uses basic foundation stitches with a moderate level count repetition. Yeah, I definitely think it's like kind of it's definitely not a beginner project. But I think if you're kind of borderline, like moving, I would try it. I don't think the worst thing that can happen is you can say, "Oh, I'm not getting this," right? So that's the worst thing that could happen, and you frog it out, and you start over. The yarn that I'm using today is the Caron Colorama Halo Perfect Phasing. This is the colorway Harbor Frost. And I put a link for this on the link tree. It does look like it's sold out at Yarn Inspirations, but I know they've been having a lot of sales, so hopefully it'll come back into stock soon. This yarn I think would be beautiful for like a hat and scarf combo, or maybe like winter shawl. It does have like little fuzzies on it, so if you don't like the fuzzies, this yarn is probably not for you. I don't find it too bad at all, though, as I'm working on it. It is incredibly soft, but you can kind of see the little fibers there. The pattern that I'm working on today is the Virus Blanket by Fiber Spider, and I put links to his YouTube videos that you can watch. There are two different videos. It's broken into two parts. Part 1 and 2 are both listed on the link tree. But basically, what we're doing is we're making these little fans, peacock tails, they look like to me. And that's what we're working on right now. So I will eventually start one of these again from the beginning. This is a modified pattern because I'm doing actually a rectangle size rather than a square version. So I think at some point I'll come back on and do that from start to finish with a different yarn so you guys can kind of see how to do that. Okay, so as we look at this, here is a big bridge here. Here's a big bridge over here. Now remember, as we were doing our chains, we had 3 little bridges. 1, 2, 3. I feel like 3 little bears going across the bridges through the woods to grandmother's house we may go. You know, all these little bridges. Guys, thank you all so much for the gifts this morning. I really appreciate that. Let me see if I can find something else to plug in here. Let's just do some roses. I think that would be fine. Okay, so here is our 3 little bridges. Can you see them? 1, 2, and 3. We need to take this and reduce it down to 2 bridges. So the way we do this, we just did our double crochets. We're going to do a single crochet into the first bridge. And what that does is it tacks down this little peacock tail that we're starting. Okay, then I'm going to chain 3. We need a little bridge. We're going to make 2 little bridges. I'm going to skip. Here's where we tacked it down. I'm going to go right into the space and I'm going to single crochet and tack down that little bridge. Chain 3. This is little bridge number 2. Again, right into this chain that we did, tack it down, single crochet. So now if I kind of pull this up, can you see how it's gone from 1, 2, 3? Now we're down to 2 little bridges. Okay, and that's perfect. That's what we want. Now here we are to the big bridge. In the big bridge, we need a total of 10 double crochets. And we're just going to go right under that chain and count out 10 double crochets. Okay, so this is the start of our little peacock tail. And we're going to be building on this and making these little fan shapes as we go along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Okay, now this little single crochet, see how it tacked it down and it pulls that down? This one, see how it's floating up here in the air? Same thing. We're going to go into this space. We need to tack this down. You want to bring this down and single crochet. Tack down that stitch, pull it down. See how it's nice and round and or over, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now we have, here's 2 more little bridges. So now we need 2 little bridges. Chain 3, skip into the next little bridge, single crochet, tack it down. We need another little bridge, chain 3, skip into the chain here, single crochet, tack it down. Okay, so there are our 3 little bridges. Here we just did 2, and voila, here we are back to a big bridge. We get 10 double crochets right into the big bridge. Okay, here's 2, 3, 4, 5. Guys, thank you all so much for the screen taps this morning. I really appreciate it. What are we at? We're at, is that 12,000? I can't see. Yeah, almost 13,000 hearts this morning already over here on TikTok. Thank you all so much. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Thursday. Let's count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there is our little peacock tail. Now, again, this is flying up here in the air. We've got to bring this down, bring it down to reality into this first chain, single crochet, tack that down. Gen X, thank you so much for the roses. Chain 3, we're making a little bridge. Skip over here into this chain, tack it down, single crochet, chain 3. Again, skip over here into the little bridge and tack it down. Okay, so here we've gone from 3 little bridges down to 2 little bridges. And voila, here we are, back to a big bridge. We need 10 double crochets. How many people have made the either virus blanket or virus shawl? Has anybody? I know several people have made it. Um, are you guys interested in making this project? Like, does this inspire you to maybe like give it a try? Or are you thinking, this is probably outside my skill level? What are your thoughts on this virus blanket? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, one more. 10 double crochets. Shan says, I'm working on a few virus blankets right now. Gail says, yes. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So again, you're probably going to have to watch the video. I had to watch it a few times before things were kind of clicking. But here we go. See how it's flying up in the air? You got to bring this peacock tail down. Bring him down to reality, right into this space. Single crochet, tack that down. There's our new little fan starting. Okay. Now we have our 2 little chains here. We need 2 little bridges. Chain 3 right into the first bridge, single crochet, tack it down, chain 3, move to the next here, again, single crochet, tack it down. Here we are back to a big bridge, and we need to do 10 double crochets. Cheryl said, I made 2 shawls, but you're inspiring me to try again. Yeah, a lot of people made this years ago, and it's kind of fallen by the wayside. And so I think that's why Maggie was thinking, oh, I should bring this back. And, she inspired me. So, anyhow, it's one of the projects I've got on my hook right now. So I figured I'd come on and share it all with you guys. And Maggie says we're bringing back the virus blanket for 2025. So I'm like, all right, I can get on board with that. Kimberly said, I have made the virus shawl, but I will be trying this blanket. Cool, cool. I have not made the shawl. Allie said, I would like to try to make it. I've had my eye on the virus blanket for a while. Definitely going to try it. Nice, nice. Dale said she was going to maybe give it a try. Anvil said, I made a shawl similar to this. Can't remember the name of the pattern. I started a shawl similar to this also, and I haven't finished it. I was also making it for Mama Wheeler, and I watched it was more like pineapples. But as I'm working on this pattern, like as you do these little, it was like pineapples I was doing, but it was very, very similar to this. And it did work kind of fast. I got kind of bored with it, so I put it to the side. But that one I did was by Tamara at Moogly, and it reminded me of this as well. A lot of times the shawls have kind of this lacy look to them. So I think if you've not made a shawl or something, this could be kind of a catalyst maybe for you to maybe start doing that. Let's see. I'm currently working alongside you on a far smaller scale to learn it. Oh, awesome. Awesome. That is great, Nana. Let's see. I think I'm going to try it in yellows for my cousin. Yeah, Joan, I have, I don't know if you heard me say earlier, I have some of the gradient. Hang on, let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have some of the yellow Premier gradient, and I think it would look like, wouldn't it look like little rays of sunshine? I think it might look kind of cool. So I've got yellow on my list as well. I think that might be the one that I come on and teach from the beginning how to do the rectangle, because I think that yellow might be kind of cool. Cheryl said, I've made 2 shawls, but you're inspiring me to try it again. Nice, nice. Veronica said, I definitely want to make a rectangle. Uh, yeah, the rectangle, I don't know if you guys saw my little rectangle where I started here. That's how it looks in the center. Obviously, this is going to be a lot bigger, but you can kind of see how those tie into. So normally when you do this, guys, when you first start out, you have a small square like this kind of. Now I modified this. Mama, you got diesel hair on your blanket. I'm going to have to do the little lint roller. But normally you have, see how this side has like two ally corners, two ally corners. You would have that over here as well. And so it's kind of a smaller center. But in order to do a 60 by 50 blanket, I had to modify that and make my own rectangle. So I can come back on and do one from start to finish and kind of show you guys. Um, I did skip over 6 stitches here, and I feel like I don't like how this is bowing out. Can you guys see that? I feel like this in here, it needs to have less stitches. So in order to figure that out, I have to remath this. Um, it worked. It's not going to be bad. It's not like enough for me to frog it, but I would like to get this kind of dialed in so that there's only probably 5 in here instead of 6. So that is one thing I have on my to figure out list. Where'd I go? Where'd my yarn go? Here I am. So anyhow, Kat said, I found it fairly easy, but I've been crocheting for many, many years. I found it pretty easy too, Kat. I think as long as you have to be committed to counting. If you want to sit in your couch and watch TV and not pay attention and count stitches, this is not the project. I as soon as I was not focused, I was really into my Audible book. I wasn't like paying attention. Um, I found that I was having a frog out. It was my fault. I was not paying attention. Plain and simple, I was not paying attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, you know, I feel like I have to be. I was also trying to do one of my blankets the other day when I was talking to Mama Wheeler, and I was trying to have a conversation while I was crocheting, and I kept messing that one up too. So depending on the pattern, if it's something really easy, then I can do other things. But this pattern, I think because it's so new to me, this is only my second time doing it. I just feel like I have to be really committed to the counting. Hey, Maggie, good morning. This is who inspired me, guys, to make this blanket is Maggie, who just popped on. She was making this on her live and shared that she had watched the fiber spider video and stuff. And so, anyhow, it's thanks to Maggie that I'm working on this for Mama Wheeler. If y'all are not following Maggie, I encourage you to give her a follow over here on TikTok. She, like I said, inspires me with the stuff that uh, she's making. So definitely give her a follow. Shailene says her kids keep getting me kicked off. Are they messaging you? I threw my kids outside, not literally kids, guys. My puppy dogs. They're outside in the yard today. So anyhow, does this pattern work better with this type of yarn, or would any yarn work? I think any yarn would work. I think if you're doing it for the first time, don't get something fuzzy like this. This yarn that I'm using today is the Caron Colorama Halo. And this is the Harbor Frost colorway. I definitely think don't do that. I also think, again, this is my opinion. I think it would be easier to pay attention to the counting if it was more of a like solid colors. Like it could change colors, but I think for me personally, working with a solid color when I'm first learning a pattern is easier to identify the stitches. I guess that's how I think about it. But I probably do one of these with maybe a Caron cake. But the one that I'm going to teach on the live, I think I'm going to definitely do the Premier Gradient in yellow. Let's see. Shan says, I haven't tried the rectangle size. Yeah. So the one that Maggie is doing is round. And so, or square, not round. I modified this and I made it a rectangle shape. So you can kind of see that's my center that came up with, invented, whatever you want to call it. And that way my blanket's going to end up being 50 by 60. So more of a rectangle size. If you follow the fiber spider, then it would be like 50 by 50 or 50 by or 60 by 60, right? It goes up in increments, however big you want to make it. That would be good if you were doing like a bedspread or something. But for me, a lap blanket, I like them to be long so that way they cover my feet. Joni says, I tried that blanket with Premier Gradient, but it was hard, had to frog stitches, trying a different yarn. Oh, interesting, interesting. Let's see. How did you decide how many rows to make your rectangle before changing to virus? It came down to the math, Shailene. And I know you're a bit of more advanced crocheter. Um, when I did this, I chained 36 because I was trying to get 10 inches wide. That's what I needed in order for it to turn out to be roughly 50 by 60. Then I did my my groups of 3 granny stitches. And so basically, I had to count when I did these little 3 bridges here, how many stitches I would need to be able to work into. That would have to be wide enough. And so I think on this side, if we count this, I think I have 40 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. I have 44 stitches. So I don't remember on fiber spiders how many he had, but I also had to figure out how to make these corners work as well for the short side. So um, it's been a number of days since I worked on this. I've made a blanket. This is my second one. Um, so, uh, but basically, I had to figure out how many stitches one of these took, and I needed 3. So then I had to have enough stitches on this side to be able to place 3 of these, and then my corners. So that's how I figured out the math. So I figured out what one of them was, right, with the virus spider, and whatever that one was, then I multiplied that. So that's how I knew how wide to make this. Like I could have had to make it up another row if there wasn't enough to accommodate the 3 shells. Does that help explain it? Um, let's see. Sorry, guys. Let me catch up on the comments. I'm a bit behind here. Let's see. Sorry, guy. Beginners avoid fibrous yarn until you feel confident in foundation stitches and counting. Yes. So what she means by that is, see how this yarn has these little fuzzies? Those are fibers, right? If you're new, avoid the fuzzy yarn at first, is what she's saying. And I agree with that because what it does, there's nothing wrong with fuzzy yarn. But what it does is it makes it hard to see your stitches, okay? Because these little fuzzies, the fibers, get in the way of being able to see exactly where your stitches are. If you use a more solid yarn, right? Like I've got the brown next to me, this one doesn't have all those little fuzzies. And so when you're crocheting along, you're able to see the stitches a little better, right? Like if I uh, move on to this yarn and you're counting, do you see how nice and even and clear the difference is? This yarn is nice and smooth, so you can really count your stitches. This is fuzzy, and so it makes it harder. So if you're a beginner, you should try to avoid yarn like this just until you get a little more experience. But if you're like, hey, I'm down, I'm gonna try it. Sorry guys, let me put this away. Bumping the camera here. So anyhow, try it with a smooth yarn first. Nana said, "Math's my inner enemy. This is why my centers are so clunky if I go off vibes to hide mistakes." Yeah. Hey, Queen 530. Good morning. Cassandra said, I have a shawl pattern that is similar to this. It has a picot border and is so pretty. Yeah, a lot of shawls use this kind of stitch. They're really nice and lacy. Now, this would look more lacy if the yarn wasn't so fuzzy, right? But you can kind of still see those stitches a little bit. I am going to do another one of these with a different yarn, and then it'll be more obvious. Let's see. Shailene says, we love you teaching here, and April is one of the best teachers. Oh, thank you, Shailene. I appreciate that. Okay, so here we are. We're to the corner, okay? You can easily identify your corner because instead of one, you're going to have two. See how there's two here? This is where some people get messed up with this pattern, is because instead of doing 10 double crochets and then immediately moving to your baby bridges, you have to do 2 allies, okay? So we're going to do 10 double crochets, then we're going to immediately move to the big bridge number 2 and do 10 double crochets. So right into the first one, we need 10 double crochets. And what happens to me is I don't pay attention that I'm on the corner. Okay, so then what happens is I immediately start working my 2 little bridges, and then I get over here and I'm off on my little bridge counts. And so then it's like, oh shoot, something is wrong here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if there's a place that you're going to mess up on this pattern, it's right here in this corner. Okay, so watch for your allies. If you're new to this pattern, it would be good if, as you're coming around, maybe you had a stitch marker up here to kind of be like, hey, yo, this is a corner. Pay attention to me. So again, different here. We're not going to tack this down. We're going to move into the second ally, and we're going to do 10 double crochets. So we end up with a total of 20 double crochets, 10 into one ally and 10 into the next ally. Okay, so that is my little pointer there as you're working on this. Really watch for those corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so there, can you see the 2 little allies? And there's the beak. Of course, it's upside down, right? But that's how we finish our corner. Okay, so now let's turn the blanket. We're ready to start down the next side. Okay, now, as you remember, after we finish the little peacock tail, you're going to have 3 bridges. Okay, this is flying up here in the air. We have to bring this tail down and tack it. So we're going to go into the first chain space here, single crochet. You want to bring that peacock tail down and tack him down. Okay, this is where it's first starting. Now we have 2 little bridges. We need 2 more little bridges. So we're going to chain 3, go right into the first little bridge here and single crochet. There's our first little bridge. We need a second little bridge, chain 3, skip into this space here, and again, tack down that little bridge. So you can see here, we've taken this from 1, 2, 3 little bridges, and we've gone down to 2 little bridges. Now here we are, voila, back to a big bridge. What do we do in a big bridge? We need 10 double crochets. So here we go, right into the space, 10 double crochets. This is starting another little peacock tail. So let's see, we need, where am I at here? I think I need a few more. This is where your counting really comes in. Sometimes I have to count it a couple times. I don't know. You'd think it'd be easy to count to 10, but sometimes I struggle with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more. Okay, there is another start of a peacock tail. Here are our 3 little bridges. 1, 2, 3. We need to bring this tail down, tack it down, single crochet into the first space. Okay, there's our little fan. Now we're going to chain 3. Again, we have 2 little bridges here. We need 2 more little bridges. Into the first one, single crochet, tack it down, chain 3, into the third, tack it down. So there you can see we've gone from 3 little bridges to 2 little bridges. Just like that, we're ready for another little peacock. So here we need 10 double crochets. When I think about crocheting, I think of it in terms of like bridges and little critters and animals and peacocks. this is what helps me to visualize what I'm making. I realize not everybody thinks like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You may hear me talk about peacock tails and be like, this girl's off her rocker. But to me, it makes sense. So in my mind, this is how I'm able to remember patterns and not have to look at patterns or refer to my notes, because I get these little visualizations of how the pattern works together. So for me, this is like I'm starting the peacock tail. And then I think of myself, okay, I'm flying up here in the air. I've got to bring that down and tack it down, single crochet. Then I think about my little bridges, right? And then I got to make another little bridge into the first one, tack it down, chain 3. If that doesn't work for you, it's totally fine, guys. I just try to explain on the on my lives how my brain kind of thinks about things. And how my brain thinks might not be exactly how your brain thinks. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So if you're, I don't know, bothered by my little visualizations or something, um, I hope it doesn't bug you, I guess is what I'm saying. It's what helps me to be able to do this, right? So again, here's our next little fan we're starting. We need 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, here it is flying up in the air. We've got to bring it down to reality. Single crochet, tack that little guy down. Now we need 2 bridges, right? Chain of 3, 2 little bridges into the space, single crochet, tack it down. Here's our second little bridge. Tack that down as well. Dale said it's very helpful to me. I appreciate it. Okay, well that's good. I'm glad somebody thinks like how I do. Veronica says, April, you're a hoot. See what I did there? I see what you did there. Clever, clever. Very punny and witty. I like it. Gail says, I love the way you describe your stitches. Okay. Uh, I'm okay if y'all think I'm crazy and nuts. That I'm totally fine with that. I personally think I'm crazy and nuts most of the time. I embrace my craziness. That's kind of how I think. So again, here is another peacock tail. You can see there's the big bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. Vicky is here this morning. How are you, Vicky? Getting an oil change and alignment. Nice, nice. Karina is here this morning. Good morning, Karina. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Thursday. One step closer to the weekend, y'all. Always exciting. If you are just coming on the live this morning, I am working on the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. Now I've modified this pattern and I am making a rectangle size. I'm going to come back on the live at some point again and make one from scratch. The virus blanket by Fiber Spider is a square shape, and this is rectangle. So you can kind of see this is where I modified the pattern. I'm going to try to make a 50 by 60 size. I'm making this blanket for Mama Wheeler. It's not a surprise. My mom is here this morning. Um, yeah, Shailene, don't push yourself. I got really sick. You guys know I missed a lot of my lives. And I'll tell you what, I am still coughing. I'm taking allergy pills. Lulu says, I woke up this morning thinking it was Friday. Oh my God, I hate that. I hate that. That is the worst feeling. Worst feeling in the world when you're like a day ahead. It's even worse when it happens like on a Wednesday and you think it's Friday and then you have 2 more days. Oh my gosh. Usually that happens to me at the end of the month because month end is like a big thing for our company, like trying to get all the orders closed out and everything. And if the month end falls like on a Tuesday, to me, month end should always be on a Friday. I know that sounds like crazy, but it's like you go through all of the stuff like it's the last day of the week, and it's not. It's such a letdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need 10 here. Here's number 10. Vicky said, will you be sharing this pattern? This pattern is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. And I put links in the link tree along with the yarn that I'm using. And I highly recommend you go check out his videos. It is a 2-part video, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 of his video is basically what I'm doing. Um, you can see this is where it started right here. This is where I modified the center, but these peacock tails, as I like to think of them. This is what I first learned from him. So basically, we started this morning with row 4. And you can see row 4 here is where you make these chains. I did start this on the live this morning from row 4. We're on row 5 now where we start these double crochets. And then we still have rows 5 and 6. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get through it all today because I'm not even sure what time it is. But this is, I guess, a little teaser taste, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to come back and we're going to start one of these from the beginning in rectangle shape. I don't know if it's going to be next week. It might be the following week because I've got some other blankets that I need to get wrapped up. And I want to finish this one for Mama Wheeler before I start another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if not next week, the following week is kind of what I'm thinking on that schedule. And I think when I start it from scratch in the middle with a rectangle, I think that video on YouTube will be more valuable than the video that I'm doing today. So that way, if you want to do a rectangle instead of a square, you'll have an option to go watch a video of how basically I modified the pattern to suit my needs is what I did. I made it into a rectangle shape. But if you want to start one in the meantime, I do think you could practice or go and watch the Fiber Spider videos. His videos are really good, you guys. And I put links to both part 1 and part 2 on the link tree, along with the yarn that I'm using today. So you can find that. If you're watching me this morning on YouTube, there are links in the description of the video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the yarn, for those that are asking, 8:45 Central Time. Okay, so I have another 45 minutes still to crochet. This is the Caron Colorama Halo Perfect Phasing in the colorway Harbor Frost. That's what it looks like. It is a very, very soft yarn. It is very fibrous, aka super fuzzy. Can you see the little fuzz on it? If you don't like that type of yarn, I wouldn't recommend that if you don't like the fuzziness. However, it is incredibly soft. I think this yarn would be really fabulous in like a scarf and like hat like set. I think it would be kind of squishy and nice. It's not rough at all. The blend on it is 71% acrylic, 18% nylon, and 11% polyester. It is a 5-weight bulky, and I am using a J10 hook this morning, a 6 millimeter. And the beautiful part, guys, it's machine washable and dryable. A lot of times, this type of yarn where you've got this fuzzy texture, fibrous, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times they're hand wash. So I do think it would be kind of nice. I put a link to Yarnspirations. It is sold out on their site, but they've been having a ton of sales on Yarnspirations, and so hopefully they'll be getting it back on stock in stock. Now there are other types of yarn out there. You don't have to use something like this. This would work up well if you wanted to do a lightweight summer blanket, maybe like a Caron Skinny Cake, which is like a 3-weight yarn. I think would be really nice. The other yarn I think would look really good with this if you wanted a lighter weight would be the ice cream yarn. You guys know I like that yarn a whole lot, and it has beautiful colors. I don't know if I would recommend this for a baby blanket, but maybe for like a little kid blanket because it does have the big holes. Okay. So you don't want a little child to get their hand or finger or something stuck in these holes. But, if you had like a 5-year-old that you were making a blanket for, I think this would look really pretty in ice cream yarn, kind of with all of the different colors spanning out. Maggie, who's on the live this morning, give her a follow, guys, if you're not. She's the one that inspired me to do this. She is working with a Caron cinnamon swirl cake. A squirrel cake, as I like to call them. And she's using spearmint swirl. That yarn works up beautifully with this pattern. So really a lot of different options. Somebody mentioned on the live this morning that they just finished a blanket like this in solid white and it turned out beautiful. So really there's a lot of different possibilities. But what inspired me is Maggie mentioned on her live that this pattern was super popular a number of years ago. Now, when this pattern became kind of a hot item, right? Um, I was not advanced enough in my crocheting to be able to make it. And so at that time that it was popular, I didn't have the skill set to really be able to do that. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. And what Maggie said is, let's bring it back for 2025 because it is such a beautiful pattern. And I know a lot of people still make like the virus shawls and stuff. But she basically threw down the challenge, and I said, "All right, Maggie, you're on. I can do this. I think I could do it. I couldn't do it before, but I'm going to give it a try." And she's the one that inspired me. So I watched Fiber Spider's video a number of times. Now, of course, to make things super complicated in April style, of course, I didn't want to do it in a square shape. I wanted to do it in a rectangle. So that, of course, meant I had to modify things. But I did that indeed. So uh, we've made it all the way around the side, guys. This is round 5 of the repeat that I'm working on. We're doing 10 double crochets to start our little peacock fans. Then we're doing 2 little bridges to condense down. You start with 3 on row 4, and now we're down to 2 little bridges. Now, again, here I am to the corner. The corner you need to be paying attention to because the corners are a little different. You'll get used to them with some practice. But what you're looking for, your marker on this, can you see the 2 little eyes here? And there's the little beak. It's like an upside down because of how I'm holding it. A little owl, okay? So if we look at another corner, right side up, can you see the 2 little eyes here? And there's the little beak. That is how your corners are. So, most likely, if you're going to find a spot where you get your counts off or make a mistake, I think go back to your corner here. This is where I have messed up the most. Okay. And the reason why is because when you're on the sides here, you're doing your 10 double crochets. Then you immediately go to your 2 little bridges. Then you're back to your 10. Okay. So 10, 2 bridges, 10, 2 bridges. When you're in the corner, what happens is you do your 10 and your mind immediately goes, okay, I need to do 10, my 2 little bridges. Wrong. In the corner, you've got to do 10 double crochets, immediately move to your next eye and make 10 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here is number 10. I'm not going to tack this down or anything. I immediately move to the next space here and I make my next owl eye. Okay, so we need 10 double crochets right into this space. 2 eyebrows. Yes, Shailene, that is another good way to explain it. Okay, I think of it very visually. For me, I latched on to owl eyes because that's how Maggie was teaching it on her live. Okay, so here we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here we go, 10. Okay. So can you see? Can you see it? There's our 2. There's the little beak. Okay, that is our new corner. Now we're ready to start working along the side again. Now on the side, we're back to, here's our big bridges. Here's our 3 little bridges, 1, 2, and 3. So again, this little peacock tail that we're starting, see how it's flying up here in the air? We've got to bring this down. Bring this down into the first space, tack it down, and bring that back down. Okay. Now here we have 2 bridges. So what do we need to do? We need 2 little bridges. Chain 3, skip over into this chain space, tack it down, single crochet. Okay, we need 1 more little bridge, chain 3, right into the space, again, single crochet, tack it down. So you can see we've gone from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is almost like bowling, right? How you have your pins like staggered, same kind of thing. So 3, now we're down to 2. Voila, here we are back to a big bridge. Into the big bridge, we have 10 double crochets. Hey Texas Whiskey, good morning. I'm sorry I missed it over on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of stitch counting today, guys. So I apologize if I miss your comments. It's not that I am trying to overlook you. I love you all dearly. If you have a question and I do miss it, please feel free to ask again. The mods will try to pin the comment for me so I can try to answer your question. So again, when we're starting a new peacock tail here, we need 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, this is up here flying. We got to bring this down, tack it down into the space, single crochet. So anchor that down. Okay, now here we have 2 little bridges. We need to make 2 little bridges. Chain 3, always for a little bridge. Move into the chain space, single crochet, tack that down. Chain 3, another little bridge. Okay, into that space, again, tack it down. So if we pull that out, again, you can see there was 1, 2, 3. Now, magically, we're down to 2. Move to our big bridge. What goes in the big bridge? You got it, 10 double crochets. Let's see. Shailene said animals were used to teach and pass down the art of crochet before written patterns existed. Wow, that's really interesting. I guess that's why I maybe do that. I didn't know that, but I think of it, I kind of visualize it like that, you know? So I guess that makes perfect sense. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my gosh, I got 10 the first time. Imagine that. If I'm not talking and stuff on the live, then I do a better job of counting. Okay, so chain 3. Now we need our 2 little bridges. So into the first space here. Guys, thank you all so much for the screen taps this morning. I don't know where are we at with taps. Almost 30,000 taps this morning. Thank you all so much. And I see a lot of folks have shared the live as well. Thank you for doing that. Chain 3, we need another little bridge here right into the space. Again, single crochet. So looking here, you can see we've taken 3 little bridges. We're down to 2 little bridges. Here we are, another big bridge. We need 10 double crochets. I don't know if my chat is working on my TV over on YouTube. I haven't seen any comments for a while. I might, sometimes on my TV, the chat feature like disables. Do you guys have that problem on your TV? I have a Samsung TV. I feel like sometimes I have to reboot it in order to see. Let me see if I can. Let me try to turn off the comments and then turn them back on and see if I can get them back on here. Okay, let me try that and see if that reactivated it. Okay, now it says successfully connected. Oh yeah, Sarah says it's working now. I see your comment, Sarah. Yay. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had lost those. Okay, so 10 double crochets. Stephanie says, we're here. I see you, Steph. Okay, into the space. Again, tack that down. Now we need 2 little bridges. Okay, so chain 3 into this space here, single crochet, chain 3. Oh, cute little dolphin. Thank you, Nana, for the dolphin this morning. Okay, now we need to tack this down into the next space here, single crochet. So again, there are our 3. We're down to 2. Into the big space here, we need 10 double crochets. Stephanie says, busy crocheting, can't type. I do that a lot. Hey, Marcia, good morning. Marcia said, I had an accident yesterday. Marcia, I hope you're okay. Were you in a vehicle accident? That is always scary. I swear, every time we get in our cars, you know. Let's see. Caron is here this morning, guys. Caron is our friend that makes the stitch markers. Let me get rid of this little fuzz here. Our hook minders. I don't have mine next to me because I put it on a project, but Caron is a great person to follow here. And on her Etsy, she makes, if you're looking for one of the Knot Slayers. Caron is the one that makes those. So be sure and give her a friend or a follow there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, we have 10 double crochets. Okay. Now here we have our 3 little bridges of the row below. Okay, there's the middle one. What we need to do, this new little peacock tail that we're starting, we've got to bring this down. See how this is flying up here? Bring this down and you're going to tack it with a single crochet. That forces that fan to kind of, uh, fall into place here. Now we have 2 little bridges here. Okay, we need to make 2 little bridges. So make a little bridge, you chain 3 into the space, goose egg on the head, bruised eye and hand. Oh, Marcia, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you have a speedy recovery. Uh, that's not no fun at all. I'll tell you guys, last week I had a sty on my eye. Do you know what a sty is? And sometimes it's the craziest little things that get us. But boy, that sty was so painful. It was on my left eye. I still have it. And I forgot to tell Mama Wheeler this. I was going to tell her over the weekend, but it's kind of funny. Kind of funny, but not funny. So this sty, the sty is like a pimple that you get on your eye. Is the best way I can explain it. And what it did is it really kind of bruised my eye, and so I had like a shiner. I had like a purple, like if this is my eye, like under here, it was all like shiny with like a purple bluish bruise from the sty. And then bruises as they like heal up or whatever. It like turned to this yellowish color. And so I had a really hard time on the live last week because my eye was swollen and kind of aggravated. Just seeing. And then I didn't think about it, but Sunday or Saturday, you guys know I went to the bank and over to Hobby Lobby, and people were kind of looking at me because it looked like I had gotten popped in the eye. Which I really didn't. It was from the sty. But I didn't think about why are people like looking at me odd, and that is why, because I had a shiner. So but anyhow, Marcia, I hope you have a speedy recovery. I'm very sorry to hear that you got hurt. So for those that are just joining on, this is the virus uh, blanket by Fiber Spider. Now, I, in typical April fashion, have modified it because I'm a bit of a rebel that way. I didn't want to make a square blanket. I wanted to make a rectangle. And so what I did is I modified the center, this part here. And right now, what I am working on is rows 4 through 7. And that is where you get these shapes that are coming. We are on row 5 right now of this. So we're working right here, and eventually you have rows 6 and 7. Now there is links on the link tree to the Fiber Spider video, and anyhow, I encourage you guys to go and watch that video. I'm not going to have enough time to, keep working on this, but I wanted to show you guys the blanket I was working on. Maggie inspired me to make it. I'm making it for Mama Wheeler, and I just thought it would be nice to kind of come on and show you where I'm at on the project. Um, and then what I'm planning on doing is in probably not next week. It depends on how far along I get on Mama Wheeler's blanket. But it could be as early as next week. I'm going to start a new one of these from scratch on a live. It might have to be a 2-day live because there are a number of rows and it is going to be a lot of explaining. But that way, I will be able to have a YouTube of how to make a rectangle version. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this pattern. And anyhow, I just wanted to come on and kind of show you guys to kind of get you all thinking about it. Think about if you have yarn that maybe you would want to give it a try. It really is a beautiful pattern. Maggie said, let's bring it back for 2025. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. So that's kind of what my thought was about today. Sorry guys, let me catch up on the comments here real quick. Um, Texas Whiskey said, I got a test for my thyroid today. Kind of nervous. You got this, girl. You got this. I know thyroid can cause a lot of problems for people. So, um, I know some people. One of the guys I used to work with, he didn't know he had a thyroid problem, and he was just having all these like symptoms. And come to find out, after he got tested, they were able to pinpoint, and then he had his thyroid medication. And once he got like that all dialed in and figured out, he was like a whole new man. Seriously, like a whole new man. So that really can cause. I don't know why. I just know from his name was Scott, and I don't work with him anymore. But at the time, he was really struggling, and so I think that was really good that he got that figured out. So if that's what's going on with you, Texas Whiskey, it could be a really good thing. But we'll definitely be thinking about you today as you go through your test. Sty are the pits. I got them as a kid playing in the coal ashes. So, Cece, I think the reason why I got it is because I was sick. Number one, I had a cold, and everything is blooming here in Alabama. I will tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm sure a lot of people have blooms going on wherever they are, but like Saturday when I was driving to Hobby Lobby, there's a huge stand of pine trees at one of my neighbors' houses, and as I was pulling out, a big gust of wind came up, and it seriously looked like the forest had caught on fire because there was the wind blew the trees like, you know, and then all of a sudden there was just like a huge plume of yellow, what looked like smoke. Well, it wasn't smoke, it was pollen from the pine trees. You know how that yellow gets on everything? Our vehicles are covered with yellow pollen. Everything is in bloom. All the fruit trees are blooming. Uh, all the dandelions are out. I like dandelions in my yard, but I know a lot of people think that they're weeds. I make sometimes dandelion jelly. I'll go out and harvest those and make dandelion jelly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So anyhow, I was sick, and then we've got all this allergies and crap. And I think what it was, I think because I was rubbing my eye, I probably got one of my little uh, eyelash ducts like infected because I was probably rubbing my eye with dirty hands like a little kid. You know what I mean? I really think that is why I ended up with the sty. Hannah says I was born without a thyroid and it's so hard. Wow, Hannah, I have not heard of that. I'm sorry you have that problem. Um, Shailene says, please stay on top of thyroids. I know I've heard a lot of things. So anyhow, let me make sure I'm on track here. Let me recount this, guys. I'm right in the corner. I want to make sure my counts are right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the pollen. Kelly says the pollen is really bad right now. Uh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, Kelly. So we'll bypass that. I never know what TikTok is going to flag me for. I try to keep it really good, but it did let you post the comments, so maybe. But yeah, the pollen is insane right now. It is so bad here in Alabama, but it is really pretty. Everything's starting to get really nice and green, and I'm excited. My little bird feeder camera that I have, for so long, there's trees behind the bird feeder. To the right of the bird feeder is oak trees, and to the left is I have a plant that's called a burning bush. It's really beautiful. It turns red in the fall. Well, all those have been without leaves, and I swear it's like overnight, the whole like backdrop of my bird feeders has completely changed. Now we have all this green. It's so pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. No, it's all good, Kelly. Don't worry. I'm always paranoid. I don't want to say something wrong, you know. Um, I saw one of my friends that I follow on TikTok. Um, her, oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Melody Yarn Tinka. I was watching Melody one morning, And we got on the subject of what was your first vehicle. This is why the TikTok flagging is so. Anyhow, we were talking about the first vehicles. Well, Melody said the name of her first vehicle that she had, and she said it a couple times because she was talking about her first car. Well, that word today, it is considered um, um I don't know what they call it, but it's they will flag you on TikTok. And so she got a violation because she said it like 3 times because she was talking about a car. And anyhow, they considered it. And so anyhow, she was like, "Wait, I just got a flag. What did I get a flag for?" And it was for that. And so you never know what words taken out of context, by the way, are going to get flagged. It's so strange. I see people on the chat, the chat on TikTok, it'll say it was filtered, right? Filtered. And then you have to re-say it a different way, which probably it was nothing. It didn't mean anything anyhow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see that happening all the time. So anyhow, somebody said, Karina said it's been in the 80s here. It's in the 50s this morning here in Alabama, but it's been warming up in the afternoons. It was really nice, but wait, hang on. What have I done here? Am I messing up? Hang on, I gotta pay attention here. What I'm doing. Okay, there's my first bridge. 1, 2, 3. Here's my second bridge. See how I get mixed up if I'm not watching and paying attention. So anyhow, Sarah said partly cloudy and a high of 45 in central Maine today too. It seems like it's cloudy out there today in Alabama too, where I'm at. So we'll see. But it has been really nice in the afternoons. It's really been super nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more 10. Okay, so there is our little bridge, peacock tail. Okay, so here's our 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. We got to bring this down, tack it down right here in the first one. Chain 3, little bridge, move to the next one, single crochet, chain 3, and into the next here, tack it down, single crochet. Boy, the TikTok has been kind of light this week as far as traffic. Last week there was a lot of people stopping by, but this week it's been a little more mellow. I never know. You never know what you're gonna get on the. Of course, it's early when I come on, but last week there were so many people stopping by. Mama Wheeler said she had to run. Have a good day, Mom. Love you. I hope you're excited about your blanket that we're making. Isn't it pretty? I really like it. I really like how it's turning out. Oh, there's one thing I was going to tell you guys. Hey, Lefty, good morning. There was one thing I was going to tell you guys about how I'm doing this yarn. So, when I started out this blanket, I started with the lightest color of my yarn. Now, I have already done one full skein of yarn. Okay. So, this is a gradient. You can see here's the light color and it goes to dark. So the center of your cake is the dark color. And you can see this is where I started this morning. We've crocheted that amount. Okay. So what I did is when I first started, I started from the light color here and I worked my way to the dark. Now what I'm doing is I'm working my way from the dark out to the light. Okay. So that's cake number 2. When I get to cake number 3, I'm going to start again from the light and work my way into the dark. And I like how that kind of transitions. Now, other people do it differently. They'll work it from the center, the dark to the light, and then they'll do the dark to the light and keep working it that way. There's no rules on how you work your yarn, but I wanted to tell you guys that's how I'm doing. So I started from the light, finished the skein into the center where it was dark. Now I'm on skein number 2 and I'm working from the dark and I'll work out to the light. And then on skein number 3, I'll work from the light again into the dark. And that is how I am working on that. Okay, so that way you can see it's really light here in the center. I could have reversed it, right? I could have done the dark and then worked out to the light. That would have worked totally fine too. So you have to kind of experiment with your yarn and get kind of a plan as to how you're going to work it. Okay. Julie says, love this. Thank you, Julie, so much. This is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. Now I have modified this pattern. There you can kind of see the stitches a little better if I hold it up closer. Um, I put links for this on the link tree. There's links for both the yarn and the YouTubes that I watched. I watched by Fiber Spider. He has a two-part YouTube series, and this is called the Virus Blanket. He also has the Virus Shawl. So if you like the looks of this and you're not interested in making a whole blanket, this would look really pretty as a shawl as well. Okay, so I am using this perfect phasing yarn, and it is really fuzzy. Okay, it's very fibrous. If you are a new crocheter, I really don't recommend this yarn. Okay. But if you want to try it, I'm not gonna be there in your living room telling you no. But it definitely is kind of it makes it harder to see the stitches. Okay. So you just have a harder time identifying like where to place your stitches and stuff. Now with this pattern, because a lot of it we're working into these big chain spaces, it works up nice. It really does. Karina, my new stand came yesterday and I opened the box and it's in all these pieces that I've got to put together. And I didn't have the energy. I had kind of a lousy day at work yesterday. And Texas Whiskey said, this is another point. I hate frogging that fuzzy yarn too. Yes, because when you frog, if you're a new crocheter, frogging means you pull it out, right? You pull out your stitches, you rip it out, rip it, frogging. What happens is a lot of times these little fibers will get twisted up on each other and make it difficult to frog. Okay, so that's another key point of the fuzzy yarn as well. So, really, if you're a very new crocheter, steer clear of this until you get a little more experience. It'll give you something to look forward to as well. So, anyhow, back to the stand. I opened up the box, Karina, and it's in a bunch of pieces that I've got to put together. And this is my last day of the week live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I Jimmy rigged a stand so that I could go live yesterday. And I thought, I'm just going to use the one that I Jimmy rigged, and it's working fine, I think. And so it looks good on YouTube, and over here on TikTok, I think the video is good. So I need to just have some time to set up that stand, and I just really didn't have the energy to deal with it. So I didn't. But what happened? Why I needed a new phone stand for those that didn't hear the story. So when I was crocheting before, I'm doing this wrong. This is what happens when I talk and do this stitch. Um, I was sitting on my couch, and my couch was a lazy boy, and on each side it had a recliner. And I was sitting on the right side of the couch in my recliner. Well, the metal hardware on the back of the chair pulled out from the like where it connects. And so it was only on the left side of my chair. And what was happening is like if let's see, like if this is the back of your chair and it's straight, I was sitting like this, okay, because the left side of my chair where it connected down here was like busted. And so every day when I was sitting here crocheting with you guys, I was sitting at an angle and it was killing my back. And unfortunately, it's not something that I can just like turn the couch and try to fix it. Like I already tried that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is lazy boy furniture, and we did buy a whole set together. We bought the couch and a love seat that had the little plug-in thing, and we bought two recliners. But we've had the furniture for, I don't know, maybe like 8 years. It doesn't seem like it's that long of time to have brand new furniture like fall apart, right? And so I think Lazy Boy has a lifetime warranty. We did buy it from Lazy Boy, but the closest Lazy Boy to us is in Chattanooga or Huntsville, which is an hour away. So I took pictures of my chair that's or my couch that's busted up, and I think I have to. Kanda, Gen X had to jump off for a work call. Have a great week, Gen X. I appreciate it. Gen X is one of our moderators here. Round of applause for Gen X. Thank you so much for the help this week. As always, love you, girl. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And so anyhow, I have to call them and find out how do I warranty my couch. But the reality is, I think in order to warranty the couch, we're going to have to load it up in my husband's truck and drive it to Chattanooga. Again, I don't know that for sure. I just suspect that is the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh, I have a point to this story. 9 and 10. So anyhow, as I was sitting here every day in this busted up couch, it was killing my back because I was sitting at an angle and I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. What I need to do is rearrange my living room, which, is kind of a pain to move all the furniture around. And I didn't really want my husband to help me. Um, guys, I love my husband to pieces, but when it comes to things like moving around the living room, he is not the best companion to do that with, right? He kind of groans and moans. I'm sure some of you all have this species in your household as well, where it's like, here's me, like, just get out of the way, I'll do it myself, kind of thing, right? And if I had asked, he would have totally helped me. But then you have a third party like interfering with how you want your living room arranged. Sometimes we don't need that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have one too many here. And so, anyhow, I thought, okay, well, what I'm going to do is when he's at lunch one day, I didn't want to do it on the weekend, right? I'm going to, on my lunch break, rearrange this living room. And so that's what I did. So I couldn't do it over the weekend, but that's when I finally made this decision. So what I did is I moved my couch over where the love seat and recliner was, and then I moved the recliner and love seat over to the wall where I sit. And so now instead of sitting on the couch, I'm actually in a recliner. Well, when I changed to the recliner, my phone stand that I used to use for going live clamped to the back of the couch onto the wood part of the couch. And of course, now I'm in a recliner. So the whole angle of the dangle has totally changed. And not to mention, when it was clamped to the couch, it wasn't clamped on the part that I was sitting on. Because as you guys know, as you're sitting here crocheting, like I'm wiggling, the chair is not stationary. So as I was crocheting, the camera's like bouncing, like I'm going down a dirt road and making people seasick as I'm watching. So basically, because I changed my whole living room up, I had to change up my camera stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I'm here in the recliner. I have a table that's over here to the left of me, and I had a table before that was to the right of me. Hey, Amanda, have a great day. Thanks for being here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's kind of the situation of why I had to change up my phone stand. The one that I was using before basically doesn't work with the new setup. So I ordered a new one that basically clamps to the table. When I click on the link tree, it says it doesn't exist. Um, oh, wow, Marsha, I'll have to look at that. That's really strange. You can also get to the link tree on my profile. So if you click on my profile on YouTube and go to my actual page, look for the social media links. Maybe that one will work better. Give that one a try. So anyhow, that's why I have a new phone stand. It's going to be one that clamps to the table that's not no longer connected to the back of the couch or my chair, and I think it'll work better. But in the meantime, I jimmy rigged the one that I have, so it is clamped on the table right now, and that's what I'm using today. So that was a very long story of why I have a new phone stand, but that is why. Okay, so next week we'll hopefully have the new stand. Lulu asked, "Where is Diesel?" One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. So Diesel, hey Vicky, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week, hopefully, or I'll see you over on Maggie's live. I'm sure over the weekend. But Diesel, Lulu, Diesel is in his terrible twos right now, or he's a bratty teenager. I'm not really sure what it is. He's no longer an adorable puppy. He's like a velociraptor. And he is into everything. And when I'm on the live, he tries to jump on my chair. He goes behind the couch and he is kind of a nuisance. And it makes it really hard for me to crochet and focus and have an intelligent conversation and not sound like a bumbling fool. So, uh, the weather is beautiful right now here in Alabama. It's overcast a little bit today, but it's upwards of going on 60 degrees. So little Diesel, the Velociraptor, and his brother are outside in the side yard. And Diesel, he's been very talkative and talks back. He's just kind of in that phase right now. I think he probably is doing some teething too. So he's chomping on everything. And so I had to make the call to have him reside outside while I'm crocheting in the mornings. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. But it's good for them to be outside and get some sunshine and everything. So that's, I think it's Lulu said he's too adorable to be mad at. So we need a diesel cam in the side yard. Oh gosh, can you imagine? He right now. I'll tell you why I say he's a velociraptor is my other dog. We'll call him Mo. That's not his name, but we'll call that his nickname. He grabs onto Mo and on his side, like full on his side, like chomps on him, and he just like he jumps on his neck and bites on his collar. He's just a ferocious little velociraptor right now, but that's part of at the age that he's at. He'll mellow out as he gets older, but he's just really at that terrible twos teenager kind of stage. So he spent 2 hours out there yesterday morning, and they ran around and they played with sticks and they chomped on each other and they dug and pulled up trees and pulled up weeds and chomped on grass, and they were totally fine when they came inside. It's good for them to get out there and run around and work out some of that energy. So, guys, I'm going to be ending the live this morning. When you get around, I only made it to row 5 repeat today on the live. If you missed out on this, rest assured it's not going to be the last time I work on this blanket or a different version of this blanket. So, here's our little allies in the corner. Again, 10 double crochets. When I get right back here, I go into my first double crochet that I did and I join with a slip stitch. Okay. So that completes round number 5 of the repeat. And so I'm going to end right here today. I do have to go to work. I had kind of a lousy day at work yesterday, so I have some stuff I need to wrap up. And so I don't want to stay on extra time today because I have to go to work. But that is how we end this. So if you're just joining on, this is what I have been working on today. This is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. If I kind of spread it out here, I'm working on this for Mama Wheeler. But if I pull it up, you'll see this is actually the rectangle version of this pattern. And so instead of a square version, I have modified the center of this to make this into rectangle. It will be, I'm shooting for around a 50 by 60-inch size for Mama Wheeler to use in her chair at work. Or not at work, I'm thinking about work, at her recliner there in Florida, but there you can kind of see it. So this is the virus blanket by Fiber Spider. If you missed it, there are links on the link tree. Even after the live, you can still access my link tree on TikTok uh, over on my profile, right? My page, there's the link tree. HTTPS link tree is what you're looking for, where you can find the links to the yarn and also the videos by Virus Spider. It's a 2-part series. Okay. This is the yarn that I'm using. If you missed it, It is the Caron Colorama Halo, perfect phasing. This is a really pretty yarn. I got this from Yarnspirations. Now it's out of stock right now, guys, but hopefully it will be coming back into stock. It is a 5 bulky weight in the colorway Harbor Frost. Today I used a size J10 6mm hook. This yarn is machine washable and dryable, which is really nice. I wanted something that Mama Wheeler could care for easily. 71% acrylic, 18% nylon, 11% polyester. Now, folks, if you're a new crocheter, I don't necessarily recommend this yarn because it is very fuzzy. If you are more experienced, by all means, this is a very nice soft yarn. I think this would be fabulous in like a hat and a scarf set, not necessarily just a blanket. So what my plan is I am going to start a new one of these from scratch. I don't know what day it's going to be. I need to get this one finished first. And I'm going to teach how I made this into a rectangle shape instead of a square. A lot of people like a rectangle blanket instead of a square blanket. So it's very easy, the center and how I made this modification. And this way, when I remake it, I will be able to start from the very beginning and explain how I work my way out. And that way we'll have a YouTube that you can go back and reference, not just for you all, but for me as well, because I am turning 50 this year. And I'll tell you what, there's times I can't remember what I did 10 minutes ago, let alone a week ago, let alone a month ago or a year ago, right? So that is my plan. But I will be back on Tuesday. For those that are still here watching, the project for Tuesday, if you're interested in what we're going to be making, I again am making another wheelchair blanket. This is a pattern that was released by Crystal at Bag a Day this week. Hey, Laura, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. So, when Crystal released this video, she released it to go back and forth like this. I wanted to make something worked in the round. So, again, I modified Crystal's tutorial. At Bag a Day, you can find this video on her page if you don't want to make this in worked in the round. And we're going to be doing this next week on the live. This is the Tuesday project. So that's what we have on deck. But I just wanted to thank everybody for being here again this week with me. A special shout out to our moderators, Anvil and Gen X. I couldn't do this without you, ladies. I really appreciate your support all the time. Everybody, please give a round of applause to our moderators. They are fantabulous. Also, thanks to all of you that are here every week with me and every day. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I love this little crochet community. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend and have fun with your crochet projects. I hope to see you all next week. Bye for now.